Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Yes, welcome. I'm so excited because it's my first time here and I need all the love and support I can get from you guys. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. So a while ago you saw me using a toner, Skin Doctor toner, precisely to cleanse her face, and now I'm going on with more like a jelly water-based moisturizer to moisturize her skin. And now moving on, I'm using the e.l.f. primer to prime her skin, and I'm applying that nicely and beautifully. Yes, so you can see it taking away that sheer on her face and mattifying that face nicely. And I'm patting that into her skin while I'm applying it, just to make sure the primer is nice and tacky to grab on to that foundation. So I did the brows off camera. You all didn't ask for a brow tutorial, so yeah, so I'll be creating some dimension into her crease or her eyelid, whichever you call it, with a dark brown shade. You could just use any contour shade that fits you or that suits you. So I switched on to a fluffier brush and I'm tapping on to a yellowish nude eyeshadow, and I'm blending that brown into the brows. Brown into the brows. Yep, I said that. Makeup is all about blending. You literally blend everything. You blend from the eyebrows to the lip. You blend everything. So yes, just get your blending A game on. So now I'm going in with a pressed eyeshadow, lime green, precisely. That should be lime green, yeah. So, and I'm gradually patting that into the inner corner. I'm not packing onto the shade and putting it once. I'm grabbing it gradually and building it up gradually, just to create more, or just to create a beautiful, I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, so I'm gradually building that up gradually. So now I'm switching on, I'm using kind of a flat brush. Okay, I've been using a flat brush actually since I started applying the pressed eyeshadow, and now I'm switching on to a loose neon eyeshadow. It's unbranded, it actually doesn't have a brand. But yeah, I'm using a loose eyeshadow and I'm putting that on top of the lime green pressed eyeshadow. Literally doing the same thing, building it up gradually, but I just added it so it pops out more and it looks boom, 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 boom. I don't know, but I just hope you understand me though. So you really need to take your time to blend this out. Like, you really need to take your time. Like, I made this clip fast and then it's still long. Like, you really need to take your time. So now I'll be lining her eyes with the Zaran black eyeliner. I don't know if he has a shade. Does he have a shade? I don't know, but I'm going to check and I would list it down below. Yes. So we are winging that out. I was rushing this process, kind of like the eyelining process. I was just so excited to get into the foundation. So it's not going to be the straightest eyeliner you have seen, but we'll figure something out. So using that eyeliner, gradually using that to apply to our inner corner, just to make the eyes look longer, sexier, sassier. I don't know, whichever. Now going on with foundation. I'm applying the shade Coconut from Maybelline Superstay, and I mixed it with a really dark foundation, like to get the shade. I don't know, but if I could, like, I'm going to check the foundation. I'm going to list it down below. So I'm applying that all over. If you watched my first video on IGTV, I usually use a setting powder to set my whole face before I go on and apply on my foundation. But I realized that it kind of creates flashbacks, or I get flashbacks when I take a picture or something. So I just stopped. So I just use a setting powder for her mustache area so she doesn't get to break out during the day. So I'm using the Real Technique foundation brush, and I'm dabbing. I'm using the dabbing motion, and I'm blending that into her skin. You don't want to swirl around, you don't want to rub. Please don't. Biko, do not do that. Just use the dabbing motion and blend it all out. So I did not apply foundation directly on the forehead. Like, I have so many reasons. I lay my edges before my foundation. Sometimes you get patches and it's not cute, but I always get to use like the remnant on the brush, or I get to take it up to the forehead when I'm blending it out. But I don't just apply foundation directly on the forehead, because I found out that's a way to control patches or getting the foundation all over your edges, blah blah blah. So yeah. So while we are blending, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up by liking the video and subscribing to my channel, and also hit that notification button so you'll be the first to get a notification when I post a video. Trust me, you would want to watch it. So yes. So I'm switching on to the beauty blender just to blend that all out, just to do that job the brush couldn't do. So I'm literally switching on to both the brush and the beauty blender and just playing around with it until I see the foundation is nice and even. Yo, just for the sakes of it, I did not make this clip fast. I did not do it, so you will just see the time it takes to really blend this all out on the realistic time. And yeah, I love to take my time when I'm working on my clients. I don't like wasting their time, but I love to take my time, if that makes sense. I just hope you dig and you understand. So since we have the foundation put together, we'll be moving on to concealer. And for concealer, I'm using the shade Chestnut and Fawn, and I'm applying that kind of, should I say, at the middle of her under eye, and I'm using that to make that eyeliner neater. And yeah, so I mixed those two shades, and that's what I'm using to conceal her eyes. You can see that I'm leaving the upper part out. You're going to see the reason later. So now I'll be going on with the shade Fawn without any mixture, no mixture at all, because that's kind of lighter than her skin tone. And I'll be using that to fill in that space that I left out at the upper part of her under eye. And now I'm going in with Chestnut, which is closer to her skin tone, without any mixture, and I'm outlining that concealer. So when I'm blending, it's going to nicely transition. Yep. So now I'll be blending that out with a beauty blender. I'll be using a damp beauty blender, not a wet beauty blender, not a dripping beauty blender. A damp, barely wet. That's what damp means. So I'll be using a damp beauty blender to blend that all out. I'll be blending her jawline, her nose, and her forehead first before I begin to blend the eyes. So at the same time, I'm not speeding up the process of this, just for you all to see the time it really takes. And while I'm boring you all out with, okay, yeah, sorry, moving on, I'm going to be blending the under eye with a beauty blender. I'm blending the ends first before moving on to the inner or the upper part of under eye, just to make sure that part really gets nice and tacky, because the tackier it gets, the easier it is to blend and the more coverage it creates, because it's not going to be moving all over the place. It's just going to it's just going to kind of stick exactly where you placed it. So yeah, I'm blending the ends first and making sure it's one with the skin and they're one big happy family. So the beauty blender was kind of moving the product around, and I went in with my foundation brush, like what I used in applying my foundation, and I'm blending that out even the more into the skin. So now I'll be using a Real Techniques, I don't know if it's blending brush, I think that's what's called, and I'll be patting that under eye. I don't want to use a beauty blender just because the beauty blender already has so many products in it. So I was using this, and then this one really gets into that under eye, like it really hugs that under eye. So I'll be using that. You can see the product is not moving around and the coverage is a little well going. So let's get blending. So I'll be going in with a pressed powder to set her under eyes first before I go on top of it with a loose powder. And I used the AOA Studio setting powder to set her face. So now I'm using a pressed powder to set the rest of her face. It's pressed powder of the shade to set her face, like the remaining parts of her face. So now for contour, I actually used the color, like the same brown from the eyeshadow that I used for her crease to contour her face. Don't come for me, y'all, like I just did that. You could choose to use a powder if you want to, but then I used an eyeshadow. So now we're contouring the nose, trying to make her look snatched. So now I'm putting on blush, and my blush is from Classic Palettes. It's more like a dull reddish pink. How are you all even meant to understand that? But it's more like a dull pink. Should I say, yeah, a dusty pink, exactly, like a dusty pink. And applying that on the apples of her cheeks. So now I'm dabbing a little bit into that foundation and pressing that all over her face, just to make sure everything melts and everything looks buttery in the skin. Nothing is left out. Everything comes together as a family and we're happy. Yes. Don't overtake the foundation though, you're going to ruin your makeup. Literally just use the remnants. So using the NYX Jumbo Pencil in the shade Milk, I'll be lining her waterline. Is that what's called? Jesus, I'm so bad with parts of the body. But I'll be lining her waterline. I think that's what's called. Don't come for me, y'all. She was tearing up as hell. It was so fucking difficult to get that part. She was tearing up crazy. So now I'm using the same shade. I literally use the same brown shade for every part of this video, and I'm using that to, no, I didn't use the same shade, sorry. I used a reddish brown, and I'm smoking that under eye out. And now I'm picking her lashes one by one. I don't know the mascara I use, but I'm going to check out and I'm going to put in the description box below. So yeah, you can see she was tearing up, like I was literally telling her to sniff. So now I'm going on with fixing individual lashes at her bottom lash, and yeah, you can see how I'm fixing it. I'm using the tweezers, holding it in place. I just put like 3, you know, because I already combed out, or I already brought out her lower lashes, and she actually has hair on her lower lashes, so I didn't really need to put in much of the artificial ones. So now I'll be fixing on this lash. She's so beautiful, yo. Like, she's so damn beautiful. Then I literally baptized her with setting spray, and I'm using the Kiss Beauty Quick Fix. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, to set her face. So now we're moving on to highlight. And I'm using the Zarin highlight. I'm just playing around. Obviously that fat brush can't highlight my nose. I was just playing around. She was so happy. I was so happy with the result. Like, there was even a point the lights went off, battery was about to die, the battery of the camera. We were just frustrated, but then we pulled the disc off. So we were so happy. So now for the lip, I'll be using classic. I'll be using the classic brown, and I'm going to check for the shade, and I'm going to add in the description box. I'm so sorry. So I'm using that brown to line her lips. She was feeling herself, yo. Like, she was so happy. I was so excited she was happy. Like, it was, I just love when my clients are really happy. Yes, I'm using the classic brown in the shade Outer Space. It's a matte liquid lipstick. And I'm going on with LA, is it LA Pride? I think this gloss is from LA Pride, yes. And I'm using that to kind of like putting that in between her lips. And now I'm using Glams. I'm using their gloss to put on everywhere and literally blend that out. Like, blend the lipstick out, just make the lipstick look one and put together. So guys, this is the finished look. My girl is killing it. She's so beautiful. She was so happy. Like, I was so glad. Like, I didn't even realize that I didn't blend the lower part of the lip well. But you're going to see that at the top. You're going to see the picture at the top corner of the screen. But besides that, I'm living for this look. This look is bomb. Anyways, don't forget to follow me on Instagram to see more of my looks at marcelapitas_. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also comment down below whatever you think about this video. I love you all. Mwah.